Hello, New Venture Lab. This is the assignment walkthrough for assignment number 19, 3-year financial model version 2. So this is where we're going to take what we did last week for version 1 and we're going to complete the rest of the spreadsheet. So pretty simple. So far, if you did version 1, you should have the revenue streams and item description and revenue scaling assumptions all complete, and the number of units sold all complete. Of course, with projections, this is very much kind of like guesses, and the idea of the guesses is that we actually list our revenue scaling assumptions. Again, guesses, assumptions are hypotheses, right? And then now we need to go out and actually test those hypotheses, okay? But we're going to continue to fill out essentially our hypotheses. And so what we're going to do is for version 2, finish the rest. So if I'm looking at let's pull one over here. Hold on. Sorry. Here we go. And bingo. So now, when I'm looking at this, what we did last week was the top. So this revenue streams, the description of what it is we're selling, and guesses, the assumptions, the hypotheses here. Okay. Now, when you're looking at this, look from a bird's eye view for a second. The only thing that we're going to be dealing with is the white spaces. So notice that there's gray spaces, there's orange spaces, blue spaces, yellow, green. We are only going to be working with white spaces. So if you are making a change on anything that is not a white space, undo what you've done. Because these are all set up to do the formulas based on what you input in the white spaces. Okay. So, what did we do last week? Again, revenue streams, description, and revenue scaling assumptions, as well as the number of units sold. So, as you do that, and as we do what we're about to do, which is the variable, fixed, and startup costs, what you want to be looking at is here. Every time you're putting a number in, you'll be getting a new calculation here. And what we want is, looks like something broke in this one, so I will pull over another example. Let's do this example. And what we want to see here is we want to get up to, in this example isn't quite there, I guess it is a little bit. We want to get up to a point where you have at least gross revenue of over $1 million. The idea there is that in order to be able to pay yourself, you have to kind of have a $1 million business in order to be able to live comfortably and also be able to potentially hire staff employees. Okay, we want to get to $1 million business. So this is for this example is for a coffee business. You can see what they have here, and you can see this example in the resources section in the Canvas page. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fill out our variable expense. Here's where you want to start for the assignment this week. Is you want to start by filling out the variable expenses, the fixed expenses, and the startup costs. So what are the variable expenses? The variable expenses are the expenses that might change regularly. So for example, if we're doing online social ads, we might pay more one month and less the next month. It probably is going to be more like a percentage of our revenue is what we're going to be doing on marketing. In fact, that's how it works here. So enter marketing percent of revenue. Is we going to be 6%? It looks like 6% across the board here for this example. In this other example, we did 20%. So you might consider which is more applicable to your type of business. This is again a like coffee business, and then this other one is a software business. And you can see all of those examples in the resources in the Canvas modules. In module 7, I think it is for the software, and this one you can find in the module 8 resources. Okay. So variable expenses are expenses that change. Fixed expenses are like insurance, cart lease, permits, utilities, fuel and maintenance, things that it is going to be the same each month, okay? So you'll enter your variable expenses. You'll give a little description here, staffing, equipment, marketing. And then you'll put in that number, whatever it's going to be. And notice, like in this example, it's the same each month, okay? Now, in a software, for example, we maybe don't have staffing and equipment. So if it's 0, put 0. Like, that's fine. If you end up having straight zeros across, like, that's okay. Whatever it actually is most applicable to your business. and I might stick with this example for a second. Fixed expenses monthly, like for like a website, or rather for like a web app, domain, developer tool, dedicated IP, and you can see expense 1, expense 2, expense 3 listed here, and you see them straight across the board as well. Okay. Now, as you have those inputs, it will actually do your total fixed expenses, total expenses, and net profit and net profit margin. You can see, like in this example, it goes 26%, 53%, 66%, 73%, all the way up to about 80% for that net profit margin. So you can see where it is that we go from 26% to 80% in year 2. Okay. So those are examples of fixed expenses. Startup costs. This is pre-launch. These are the things that are going to cost like one time. So in this example is app build. So like actually just building the app, and let's say that's 15,000, and that's where it is that we only had a 26% gross margin here. Okay. Now you'll actually be able to see, as it is you're filling these out, you'll be able to see these total revenue numbers actually in this forecast down below. Again, these will all calculate based on your inputs on just the white spaces. Okay. So this is going to be version 2 of what we're going to do. Feel welcome to use AI to help you make these guesses. But next week we'll actually be running whatever it is that we submit this week through AI tool of our choice in order to be able to better optimize this spreadsheet. Okay, so you can actually go to like investors and show them how this could be possible. Okay. And again, at the end of the day, we really want to see just like so we got 2027, 2028, 2029, and we'd love to see $1 million here. Okay, that would be really, really cool. That's the goal. This one was a coffee business, and so I guess this coffee business didn't really have startup costs. And if that might be you as well, and in which case, just like be like, that's fine. If it's 0, it's 0. But the goal is just to do thorough kind of research here, okay, and thorough like thought exercise. It's very much projections that are often thought exercise. Some people are more into projections than others. Some investors want to see your projections. A lot for sure do, but it's always a grain of salt. Because any of this is just like best guesses kind of thing. So that's where we want to work, and that's the idea. Okay. So if you have any questions, as always, reach out. I'm here and happy to help. Have a good week. Okay. Bye.